What's up, everybody? This is Frederick, and I'm ready for the live chat. This is our pub talk for May. So we're a chat about various things happening with Saturday AM. So we're going to get started here in just a moment. I'm sending out the signal to let all of our fans know that we are live, and so that they can hop on and check out our chat. So just give me a moment here, get this thing up and running. And even if they don't show up, we're still going to do it because we got lots of stuff to chat about. So let's see here. Let me just get my complicated rig I've got here set up. Let me kind of run through here and see if I can pull this stuff up. There we go. Okay, there we go. Get my little notice there. And nope. Let's see, subscriptions. Oops. Folks, this is how it's supposed to happen. It's literally this cool. So there we go. All right, so there we go. Perfect. Well, I guess it's perfect. I don't know. I assume I've got my live chat here, but I actually don't see it. So I always love where I can't actually see the chat that people would have. I can't see it, so that always kind of sucks for me. But anyways, my name is Frederick L. Jones, and I am the founder and publisher of Saturday AM. We are the world's most diverse shonen manga anthology, and you guys may have heard of us or seen us. We have amazing series like this, and of course, folks, I know this is ghetto, but this is how we do it. Okay, so you just have to trust me on this. This is how we do it. So we we're the publisher of Saturday AM, and we have several titles you may have heard of, like Apple Black and Clock Striker, Saigami, Hammer, Bullet Eater. I was getting ready to say Deadpool, but that wouldn't be correct. That if that were correct, that this would be a fancier studio, and the chair I'm in would float like Professor X's chair on X-Men. So I have a dog here, which is my dog, and she doesn't like when I talk to people on chat, so she's trying desperately to get me to pay attention to her, even though I gave her copious amounts of treats. So if you guys aren't familiar with us, again, we are Saturday AM. We publish diverse shonen manga from around the world. We also have a second magazine called Saturday PM, and that is all about more adult content. So we publish manga that is meant to be what they call seinen in Japan. So this is content that is more mature, features more violent content, features more sexual content, but nothing that's pornographic and nothing that is grotesque for the sake of being grotesque. We don't do that. But we're really excited. We are just about to launch our 86th issue to our subscribers and to our fans. We've unveiled several new initiatives in the last couple of days and weeks, and we've got a lot of things coming up on the horizon that many of our fans have been wanting to see and supporting us to see if we can achieve that. So we've got a lot of announcements that we have made that we'll be talking about tonight. This Pub Talk series is really just an opportunity for me as a publisher to talk about some of the things that we're doing with Saturday AM and some of the places that we hope to go with Saturday AM. And that's really it. And it gives you guys an opportunity to chat directly with me. Now, I will say I'm a little bemused by the fact that, like I said, I thought this was set up where I could actually see the comments, and I don't know why that is not the case. I don't see any chats, but I know that sometimes when this happens, those chats do come and yada, yada, yada. So I don't know why that's the case. I'm going to see if there's anything I can do to change that. If not, I will give you kind of a heads up as to how you can get information to me during this process. So give me a moment here. Let me see if I'm able to. There we go. Okay, I see the chats here. There we go. All right. Okay, great. And I know you guys can hear me because someone remarked on the fact that I used the incredibly difficult word of copious. So there we go. So I hope everybody's doing well. So let's jump into it tonight. And again, since I can't see the comments here, if you have questions, you can feel free to post them. I'll be happy to answer them, within time. So today, of course, is May 11th, and we are 1 week away from attending our next Comic-Con, which is we announced at the beginning of the year we were going to do a tour, and then we were going to take the Saturday AM brand and a lot of our creators around the country, if hopefully the world, And I got to say again, these are sort of things that when I think about the company and I think about competition and various things, these are sort of things that make me feel that are frustrating because I know how difficult these things are, and I think sometimes, of course, some of our younger fans or some of our fans who are not as engaged in what's happening, it tends to just go right over their head. But like, this is significant. Like, this is something I'm really proud of. The fact that we've gotten to a place to where we can actually attend shows around this gigantic country like the United States of America, and we can take a good percentage of the 20 some creators that we have and go to these locations and show them, have them meet their fans, and have them get to meet, have our fans get to meet them and have them get to see the brand as it exists in a bigger context. That really is important to me. And I think that, the fact that we've done all of this on our own, no one's come and given us a ton of money and said, hey, have at it. You guys, hey, yeah, you guys are great. Here's a ton of money and just do what you want to do, and we'll take our cut later on down the road. We've been able to fund all of these things out of our subscribers and out of our advertisers, and I'm really proud of that fact. And I hope that people who are wanting to pursue what we do on whatever level, if you're wanting to make your own comic book or your own publishing house, which I support entirely, then I hope that you look at those type of things when it comes to Saturday AM. Don't look at the fact that we've got white manga or that we publish Clock Striker. Don't look at those things. Look at the fact that we run a company in a way that enables us to make targets that we want to achieve, and that we actually are achieving them. You don't hear us talking about crazy things. The stuff that we try to do are things that are deliberate, that we can accomplish. And so that to me is one of the most significant things that we've done in the last 4.5 years, is be in a position to say, we're going to go on a tour and actually go to various places. And these are not places like up and down the East Coast. We were in Cleveland. We were in Portland, Oregon, which is on the opposite side of the country. Last year, we were in Santa Clara, which is right outside of San Jose and San Francisco. We were in New York City. Next up, we're going to be in Philly next week. And then after that, we're going to be in Chicago. And this is significant. This is a really significant thing. And every time we go to these places, it's amazing because we see people who come up to us and are like, man, I've been following y'all for years. And man, it's so amazing what you guys are doing. I'm so proud of you guys. And, and that's great. Like, that's really awesome. And we don't do it for that reason, but it's important, because I'm very difficult with my artists. I demand a lot out of them. And so for me, that they can, be in that position where they get to see that, where they get to see people talking to them directly, and that they get to see people who really are motivated and appreciative of what we've done. That to me is really important. So again, we're going to be at WizardWorld Philadelphia next week. And I want to talk a little bit about what we do at these shows. But first, let me tell you who all's going to go. It's going to be myself. It'll be White Manga. So you guys who love Apple Black and his new series he's got coming called Bakassi, you'll get to see White at the show. We have Blake Showers, who is a new artist that we've signed. So you may have known, you've seen his stuff, I'm sure. He's very, very popular on Instagram and places like that. He's got a webcomic called Four Strikes that he's going to be with us. He'll be doing, he's going to be unveiling his newest manga, which is called Tortuga Force 5, which is a new Saturday AM property. We've got Frederick Ward, who does Comet Man, which is our all ages superhero series. Lukman Otitoloro, who does Better Off Ignorant or Boy, which is kind of like a Gintama sort of. It's super wacky. Lukman is very talented, and so this is a really cool opportunity for him. Mark Reed, the lost Mark Reed, who does Z Forever, which was at one time we thought would be as big as Apple Black. It's a very popular series, but it's he's been very busy, so he hasn't been able to get to it as much as we'd like. But Mark Reed will be there, and there'll be some more stuff with Z Forever coming. David Yoon, who does Spoon, which is one of my favorite series that we have. And I feel like I'm missing somebody, but I think that's correct. I think it's David, Lukman, Blake, Mark, White, me. I think that's it. So it's all guys, and I hate that part because we have done a really good job of getting amazing female creators in from Morgan Walker to, of course, the great Andrea Voros to Michelle Massarolo, Helena Quintanilla. I wish we did have a female coming. We don't. but it should be fun. I'm really excited about it. And if you've never been to the show, there are several things that we do at these shows. First of all, we have a TV set up near our booth, so you can come there and you can see videos of various things that we're working on, things that we don't necessarily talk about, but you can see. So, for example, you'll see the video game trailer. You'll see some other stuff that we got coming, which I don't necessarily want to talk about right now. You'll see the anime that we did for Mutton Chop from Anthony Jackson and Bharat Lajani. You'll have a chance to see that live. If you didn't see it, you'll get a chance to see it at the show. We have obviously a lot of tanks there, which you can get autographed by White or Mark Reed. Matt, I don't need to sign your tanks, but I'll sign anything if you give it to me, except for a court order. We've got prints that you've never seen before. So we have a lot of cool prints that have never been seen before. And we'll have those available for purchase. Some will be for giveaways. We'll have a lot of cool stuff there from some of our vendors, such as Plask, who makes comic draws. So if you guys have seen Comic Draw, this great application allows you to create comics. We love these guys, and so you'll have a chance to see this at the show. You'll get a chance to test drive it. We've got some competitions where our artists will compete against each other. One will show you how they do it in Comic Draw. The other person will do it with a live sort of thing. We've got panels. We'll talk about. We've got some panels on diversity and why diversity is important. We have a panel on the economics of manga, so that you can pursue the economics of manga. You can learn about how to create your own comic book. So it's really more of a workshop. And then we have a how to pitch session. So this is where I'm put with some other people, and we talk about just the various ways to successfully pitch your manga or your comic or your novel or your movie project to a movie studio. I did this in Portland, and it was myself. It was a novelist, someone who had written novels, and I was the publisher. There was a guy who was a novelist, and there was another guy who worked in the movie industry. In fact, he was working on a TV show, and so he was talking about how to pitch a TV show. So it was really informative. It was informative for me, and I like to think I did a pretty good job. I had a lot of people come to me afterwards saying they really liked, my views on things. So I'll be doing that again. WizardWorld asked me to participate in the next one of those. So it's a fun time. It's very, if you want to get more, a lot of people tune in for these videos. I'm always surprised when people watch these videos, because you can see it's not very sophisticated. I'm sitting in my home office. It's not well lit. I mean, I could turn this light on, but I would suffocate. It's so damn hot. But I'm always surprised. I mean, these videos are usually about an hour. 2 or 3 hours long, and it's just us talking. And yet, we clock up, 500, 600, 700 views, if not 1,000 views or so. So it's always, just interesting to me. So if you want to see that in person, obviously I talk more in person about these things. We also have live pitch sessions. So if you want to pitch us your comic, a la Summer of Manga, you can do that in person, and it's a different experience, obviously. So you could do that in person. And that's pretty much it. I mean, it's a really fun time. And again, if you guys want to come see some of our creators, again, White Manga, Frederick Ward, Blake Showers, who's new, Mark Reed, Luke Minotauro, or David Yoon, come to the show. That they would love to meet you. There's a lot of people, and they'd love to meet you at the show. So that's that. That's it for the WizardWorld Philadelphia show. One thing I'll say about it real quickly, one important thing to note is that if you wish to attend the show, and I know we've got some people who are actually attending, then you can save 20% off of the ticket price by putting in offer code Saturday AM. So if you just put offer code Saturday AM in there, you'll actually be able to save money off the ticket price, and that'll help you to be able to get in at a cheaper price. So that's something they set up for us. I don't know if many people used it for Cleveland or for Portland, but I know that we had more people using it now. A lot more people have stepped up to use it in Philly. I guess we just have more fans in Philly, but plus I think we've done a better job of getting the word out. So again, if you want to save some money and come there, you can go check it out, and that'd be great. We'd love to see you, and that's all we can say on that. We're going to next talk about Summer of Manga. Before I do that, I see obviously some great questions here. I see Miss Morgan Walker's in the chat. Hey, Morgan. I see John Mendoza's in the chat. Hello, John Mendoza. Angel Lewis is talking about Mutton Chop anime, and then Spoon anime would be good. I agree about Spoon anime would be very good. Adam Songombele says, "Will you ever come to the UK?" I've been to the UK many times myself. I would love to go to the UK again for Saturday. First of all, let me say I'm confident that we will go to many countries around the world. I have no doubt of that. We've been invited to go to Japan last year, so I have no doubt that we'll do that. It's always just a question of trying to focus on the things that we have to do, and we'll talk a little bit about that shortly. But we have bigger initiatives that we have to accomplish first, and that is, of course, the key objective for us is to keep the company moving at the right pace, and so we got to work on that. But without question, we will make it to other countries. How many countries and who's first and all those things, I don't know, but we certainly will. Angel Lewis says he loved watching the weekly videos back when you had Pilot Manga Group. Well, thanks, Angel. And so, actually, that's a great thing I want to use as a springboard into the next subject, which is Saturday AM Daily. So that's a podcast that I launched, and people really liked it. Again, it's just more of me yapping. In fact, it's all of this awesome special effects of this room and stuff and this, that, and the other. Like, that's not even on the podcast. It's just me yapping, through the microphone. I did 4 episodes, and I was doing the 5th one, and I just couldn't get the 5th one finished. And that's what sucks about being called daily, is because I had too much stuff to do. In fact, I was talking to Raymond today, Raymond Brown, the creative bully leader, and I was telling him how I was so pissed because there was something that was really specific that we wanted to get done for WizardWorld Philly. And I had time to do it, even though I had a bunch of other stuff to do. I mean, I've got to organize travel. I've got to put together the stuff that we're bringing, like these postcards and books and all these things. I've got to issue with FedEx. I've got to resolve. So like all this stuff I have to do. But I mean, it's really something. It's really something else. But I was not able to get the stuff done, and so it was frustrating because I couldn't get stuff done on this one thing that we wanted to do where we were in Philly. And so, my point in saying that, like, the podcast is just that it's really difficult. That's why I said earlier on, I'm like, I think sometimes people look at us and they take the wrong lessons from what we do. The lesson that people should take is literally the idea that we've accomplished things that we set out to do, that we've done them, deliberately over time, that we can go to these shows throughout the U.S., which is a very big place, and then we can take, a handful of our people to each one of these shows. Like, that's a really special thing, and that we can have a nice setup there. I mean, that costs money, and so so again, I think we're good. I hope to do more of the podcast because it's just another way for us to reach people, and I don't mind talking if people don't mind listening, but obviously I run. Problem I have is that it's called daily. And it's hard to have time to discuss things daily. So I'm thinking of playing with the format. I think I'd do better as well when I've got someone else to kind of riff off of. So I'm hoping I can convince, Morgan or David Yoon or David Yoon is very funny. Or just other Jay Oden, who's very, very funny. Convince some of them to do the podcast with me, which is kind of easy to do. I was surprised how easy it is to set that up. But to do that so that every day I've got someone to riff off of, we can talk about the news, and then, and then that way it can make it a lot easier of an experience for me to do, because it's just like, doing it and kind of running through it. So I hope to get something like that done starting this Monday, and hopefully we can do it every day this coming week, and then we'll go from there. But it's called Saturday AM Daily, and just like this, if you want to see all of our creators and all the media accounts that we have, starting with Saturday AM, if you like listening to us or watching us, you can go to our webpage. We have a new section set up called Media. So you can go to www.saturday-am.com/media. And there you'll have a chance to actually see our podcasts, our YouTube channels, videos, all this various stuff there from a variety of people. Saturday AM, of course, the big one. Followed by White Manga, and then I think we're trying to put up there. I think Saigami's up there. Andrea Voros. I believe Jay's got a channel we're going to put up there. Blake Showers has a channel we're going to. I mean, there's a lot of people that have stuff we're going to try to put up there, but that's the general idea. So Saturday AM Daily. Expect that. I'm going to try to give it a better try next week, and we'll see if we can get daily, but again, the episodes that have been there, people really like it. So, you know, that makes me feel surprised, but, you know, happy. So, so yeah, that's the general idea. I think when it comes to trying to connect with our fans, like Angel was saying regarding the weekly videos I did back at in Pilot Manga. You know, we're not going to do Pilot Manga again, but this is a great way to do that. You know, to our big fan base that we have externally, is to continue to make videos on YouTube, which is the series here called Pub Talk. My plan is to do this on a monthly basis, to do more critique videos, which a lot of people like, to do the podcast hopefully daily or as close to daily as possible, and of course to continue producing the magazine and having cool stuff in the magazine. So, so that's that. That's what I want to say about that. Next up is Summer of Manga. So Summer of Manga Wave 2. So we did Summer of Manga is our setup that we have where people can submit short stories to us. And so again, I know people discover us with each one of these videos. We have the same people watching them, but then we have a lot of new people watching them. So for those of you who don't know, the Summer of Manga is an experience that we have, tying off of Angel Lewis's comment that he made about Pilot Manga. So when we started Saturday AM, you know, the idea, of course, Saturday AM is to have diverse manga. You know, I mean, people who look like me, or people who are white or gay or Muslim or Jewish or what have you, but people who love that particular art form and who want to bring new ideas to it. We think it's important, if you love manga, for it to continue to evolve. So that's the idea behind Saturday AM, to be clear. So, you know, so anyway, that's our plan. That was our plan. We started, and of course, you know, we got a variety of people whining about diversity and so forth. This was, keep in mind, this was, you know, 5 years ago, 5 years ago, because we started the company long before we actually had Saturday AM come out. So between 5 to 6 years ago, you know, we had a lot of, you know, sort of stuff, you know, kind of various things happening where people were kind of, you know, whining about the diversity piece of it. And of course, you know, we were ahead of the curve with it and stuff. And now, of course, you see Black Panther come out and explode. So again, I see someone here showcasing their own ignorance, and it's like, you know, you focus too much on diversity, and yet we see time and time again that diversity has worked. We see time and time again diversity has worked. So maybe you're the one who needs to grow up. You know, the world has changed, and people want to see more interest. They want to see interesting content. They want to see, you know, Clock Strikers, our second most popular series, about a Black female lead character. So I don't know this idea about Apple Black. We don't think people care about. So again, this person seems like someone who'll be ejected quickly. But you know, the general idea is that you know, Saturday AM, you know, that's what we started for. So and not just that, we want to bring more people to the conversation. We want to bring more people into the conversation. We want to have, you know, more people able to offer ideas, because when I was in the corporate arena, when I was in corporate America, the problem, of course, is that you don't see a lot of people making some of the decisions that affect whether or not we get to see this content. In fact, there was sometimes a real dedicated effort to prevent people of color, like this person here, trying to prevent people from actually making more diverse content available for people. And again, you know, Black Panther wasn't the first one, by the way. There are several films or several entities that have come out in entertainment that have proven that you can have Black or Asian or Latino cast, and they will succeed just as well as a white cast. It's just that, you know, there were blocks, and people purposely trying to block them from being out there. Same thing with gay and things like that. So again, our objective in creating the company was to try to change that from the ground up. Instead of relying on another company to help us do it, we would do it ourselves, and we would build a company that actually featured more diverse creators and more diverse decision makers. So we have a company that's very mixed and very unique. And so because of that, you know, the whole idea in creating what we do with Saturday AM, we tried to bring that through to all the other areas that we focused on. And so Summer of Manga bore out of the idea of us wanting to bring people into Saturday AM, but bring it in a way that worked nicely. You know, we can't, you know, because we're a small company, you know, we would get overwhelmed, and we did. Again, despite what this fool here H says, trust me when I tell you that a lot of people were interested in this. We got that first 6 months, we got inundated with people who just, they couldn't, I mean, they were like, I remember the first letter we got was from a kid from South Africa, and his parents had wanted him to be a doctor. but he loved manga. Now manga's not read at that time, was not readily available in South Africa, and many countries are like this, right? I mean, we know it's not South Africa, it's not an African thing. You got countries in Europe that barely get anime manga legally. You've got countries in Latin America, you've got countries in the Middle East or Asia who rarely get access, aside from Japan and Korea, who rarely get access to some of the stuff. So this young man who was a person of color, saw Saturday M, saw what we stood for, and like you could literally read in his note, how sad he was. I mean, he was, happy, but you could literally hear the sadness with him, because I mean, this guy, he was like, he had never seen this before. He had never seen this many people of color doing what he wanted to do, and it made him realize that he could actually do it too. And then he also didn't have to follow what his parents were telling him, which was that no one wants to see artwork from somebody black. That's literally what they were telling him. Go be a doctor. You can make money with a doctor, but nobody cares about art from black people. So this really counted for him. This really meant something to him. And we've had subsequent people like that from Saudi Arabia. We've had women talking about this way. So the point is that, we have always wanted to not just have it for ourselves, but make a pathway for others to be able to do it. And I don't care if you're from Scotland. I don't care if you're from Finland. I don't care if you're a poor kid. We had a country white guy, and I mean country, from like the outskirts of civilization in Tennessee. And I mean, this kid, the roughest Southern accents you ever heard, they didn't have fast internet. So he and I could only talk on his office phone in the town, because internet was not an option for him. I mean, this is in the United States of America. But he, again, unlike H, whoever H is, this guy, I think his name was DL. He was in love with what we were doing with Saturday M, because he saw that what we were trying to do meant that he had a voice too, meant that he could express himself, because, Hollywood wasn't calling to get his opinion on things. People weren't interested in giving him a chance to make a comic book or make a manga. So he had to do it. And Saturday M represented a place where he had a home too. So again, that foolishness aside of this person here, let's come back to reality. Diversity matters. It matters implicitly. It matters completely. And we care about diversity across the spectrum. We want to make sure that we drive as much diversity, period, no matter where it comes from. And so to that end, the challenge we run into is that, again, we're a small company. I don't have tons of money. I'm not Mark Zuckerberg. No one drop kicked a ton of money in my pocket to do this company. I have sacrificed everything for this company, literally everything. There are people that I still owe money to as I've built this company. But the mark of what makes Saturday M special is if we succeed, and that we bring a lot of people with us. And that doesn't mean, by the way, that they have to come with us. It just means that we kick the door open so that other people can come through with us, whether they're doing it on their own, or they're starting their own company, or they're joining with another company, but that they're bringing new ideas and their own passion to creating diverse content. And they're doing it thanks to what we're trying to do. And so to that end, it's very important to us that we have a process to help creators get that voice, right? Because the problem with this is all that sounds great, right? That all sounds lovely. But at the end of the day, if you're someone who comes from a small country or a small place in America, like this guy DL, you don't have good internet. Well, then how do you even know if people want to see your stuff? How do you actually get feedback? It's not like Marvel's giving you notices saying, hey, we like this, but you need to tweak this, you need to tweak that. That doesn't happen. Even with all the power of the internet, that doesn't happen. You can be on some of our competitors' websites, right? Some of the big webcomic sites, and how often do you get feedback on those sites? If they've got a gazillion times more traffic than we do. And how often do you get that sort of feedback on those sites? And the answer is very little. So I think for us, it's important that we not just do what we do. It's important that we try to make a process available for people to experience the sort of feedback and guidance and support that will help them go on to create their own content, whether it's with us or someone else. And so from that end, we had this group called Pilot Manga, and that was really cool. And there are a lot of people now doing stuff because of Pilot Manga. We have a lot of creators out there who are doing stuff, and Pilot Manga was chief to what they were into. But we closed it because it was just too busy. We had too much activity. We had at one point we had 3,000 members, and this company's I think 28, 29 people and 3,000 people. We couldn't manage that and get our magazine out and everything else. So it was really difficult. We were doing art competitions once a month, and it was really difficult, really difficult. And so we stopped it. We had to come back and put ourselves in common, put some common sense back into our operations. But we have this thing now we've done for the last 3 years called Summer of Manga, and the general idea is we just want to set something up that gives people a chance to submit a story and get honest feedback. So we do it once a year, and we do it a couple of times in the summer. And so traditionally we kick it off in April, right after our March Art Madness, which is a big art competition from people around the world that we've got, and it's done really well. We'll talk about that in a moment as well. But so we do that, but once you get past that, right, then you get to the next thing, which is doing Summer of Manga. So it starts in April. We put the notice out there. So if you subscribe to the digital magazine, you actually get the information before everybody else. So you got more time to work on your stories and stuff. But we give people a chance. Basically, we tell them what we're looking for, and they get a chance to create a short story, send it to us. If we approve it, then we will run it in one of the issues that we have during the summer, which is a really fun time of year for our magazine. So long story short, we did the first wave, get it, wave, Summer of Manga. We did the first wave at the end of April, and we had a number of people. I want to say we had maybe 12 people, a lot of female creators too, by the way. And so that was more than we expected. So we typically do them 3 months. We typically do one in April, and then we'll do one in May, and then we'll do one in June. We just closed the one in May. That one just finished yesterday, last night, and so we're looking now to see how many people are going to come out of that one. And I don't know. I haven't looked at the content yet. But I know the question has come up as to will we do a third wave, which would be in June. And my honest answer is I don't know. Because it really is a lot of work, and these are creators who are not associated with Saturday AM. So the work that we put into it, this is all volunteer. We make no money off of this. So the work we put into talking to those creators and trying to give them ideas as to what they need to do to make their work stronger, that's something that we don't, that's just something I can't articulate in any grand sense as to how difficult it is. It's really difficult. It takes a lot of time. And you just never know, how much is going to be involved with it, because everybody operates at a different level. So, all I can say to you is that, for those of you who are asking about Summer of Manga, I can tell you that the stuff I saw in April was really good. The stuff that we selected in April was really good. In fact, there were people who were very talented that we said no to in April. That's how big of a turnout it was. The people that we took in, but we liked their stories, we liked what they were doing, and we took more people than we normally would have thought. Then, like I said, I haven't seen the May one yet, so we'll see how May turns out. We're going to do a live thing at WizardWorld Philly. So if you're at WizardWorld Philly and you want to present your work to us in person, we'll be able to do that. We'll give you honest, critical feedback right there. And then we may do it in June, we may not. I don't have an answer yet if we'll do June for Summer of Manga. But again, if you're new to this, Summer of Manga is an opportunity for us to be in a position to, to just kind of try to, learn stuff and get content out there as much as possible. We're trying to, again, discover as many diverse voices as possible. We're trying to empower a lot of diverse creators to tell their stories. The key thing about Summer of Manga, though, take the diversity piece aside for a second. The key thing there, the thing that's most important, is that we do have to kind of deal with one of the biggest issues, which is creators who have good intentions but are not good creators. And I think from that standpoint, the challenge with that is that, I was talking to someone the other day about this. One of the things about having this policy of trying to bring more creators in is that this only works if you are actively talking to creators the right way, meaning that you're not lying to them, right? Because no feedback doesn't matter if someone's lying to you. If I'm telling you like, oh yeah, it's good stuff, doing this behind your back, that's not a good way to that. You're not getting help that way. Like no one's helping you in that context. So, I hope that we try to be as realistic as possible with people. I hope that they appreciate that honesty. And there's some folks who just they're not at the level currently, which is most people. But then they also probably just don't possess the ability to do it. And that one's hard because you don't want to cut someone down and make them feel unappreciated and questioning what they've always wanted to do with their heart. You never want to tell someone what they can't do. I mean, but at the same time, though, you have to be realistic with what matters. So this comes back a little bit when I want to talk about a little bit is about how to approach people that you want to work with. I was listening to a podcast today. I walk my dog a lot, and I was listening to a podcast today, and it was a podcast from a woman that I would love to meet one day. She's her name is Spike Trotman, and she's got a company called Iron Circus Comics, and they do a lot of adult comics. So for those of you who are underage, do not look up Iron Circus Comics. Do not look up Iron Circus Comics. But they've got she's had a lot of success. She's made a lot of money, and she has a podcast called Three Dirty Bitches or something like that. I know it's crazy, but I think she has a podcast called Three Dirty Bitches or Old Dirty Bitches or something like that. And this episode they talked about going to conventions and what you deal with when you go to conventions. And I totally agree. I think everything they were saying was dead on. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about that in this video. Because I think the same thing goes to how you approach people who want to publish. So the last 2 days I've gotten, every day, and this is how we know that, our brand is just taking off. Every day, we get people who contact us and want to do work with Saturday AM. And it typically goes a little something like this. I'll get a note on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, and it'll say, and they'll go, hey, Saturday AM. And like I'm making the head motions. I can't see what they're looking like, but this is what I imagine they're doing because it just makes sense. Hey, Saturday AM. I'd like to join. That's it. I'd like to join. And so you see it, you're thinking to yourself like, and keep in mind again, like I live and breathe Saturday AM. I have no idea sometimes what's going on in the outside world. The only thing I do when I get up in the morning is I check my iPhone to make sure Trump hasn't blown up the country. Which he's close to doing, and to make sure that the business is still active, that we sold a print or we sold a subscription more likely, that we're doing something, right? And so you get these notes, and so my first thought, because I'm usually tired, is I'm thinking like, oh, okay, wait, time out. Are they asking about joining us? Like they want to subscribe? And so I'll always, because obviously that's what keeps us in business is subscriptions. So I'll write back. I'll say, hey, if you want to subscribe, here's the link and so forth. Check it out. And so of course there'll be a momentary confusion, right? Because then they're confused and they're like, subscribe. And literally the guy today, like that was literally his thing. He's like, in fact, both guys, the guy from Instagram and the guy from Facebook. Yes, if you a Facebook guy and Instagram guy, if you're watching this, yeah, I'm putting you on blast. I won't say your names, but I'm putting y'all on blast. But like, and so then they get confused, and it's like it's one of these funny things because then I'm like both of us are confused. I'm like, because they're like subscribe, and so I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why is he confused about subscribe? I'm like, subscribe. I'm like, did I say that wrong? Or like I'm thinking now I'm confused, right? I'm like, damn, did I say it right or what? And so So did I type subscribe? Did autocorrect happen? And instead of subscribe, it said Sabuti. I'm literally confused, right? And so then you realize that they are not talking about that. And they're talking about, I see white manga like this jackass H, like, yeah, hey, white manga, I want to be like white manga, so I want to, I want to make comics. And so you see it, and you think to yourself, you're like, okay, so like, and the only example I can give to how ignorant this is, and again, it's totally ignorant. And both these young people, by the way, were very polite once I corrected them. But and look, here's the thing too. You guys, those of you who watch my videos know that I don't suffer fools very quickly, as H found out when I bounced his ass out of this chat. I don't suffer fools. I don't feel like I have to. I'm not Viz. I'm not Marvel. Like, we're not a publicly traded company. Everything we've got comes out of me. And so, and the hard work of our creators. So I don't feel like I owe shit. This is business. And, and this is supposedly the new world of business, is that people can get on our social media account and talk shit in our chat and vice versa. And that somehow companies can't respond. And I totally think that's ridiculous. I think if you act a fool, companies have the right to treat you like a fool. And that's pretty much my motto. And so, but I'm taking time out of my schedule to respond to this person. Wow, H, I sure did thought I bounced your ass up out of there. That's crazy. I must have hit something weird there, but don't worry, H, because you are definitely up out this month. So anyway, but it's funny, it's funny how that whole thing happens. And so I think you get in that mode where you are, damn, I don't know how H did that one. H, I actually should make you back in, because you get respect for crawling your ass back up into this chat. I don't know how you did it. You did some cockroach stuff on YouTube, but hats off to you, H. I would actually let you back in for that reason. But no, so, I think that, like I said, I'm taking time out of my schedule trying to listen to what these people are saying, because again, they earnestly want to join, and I think that's a fair emotion. But at the same time, though, here's the analogy. The analogy is, and take this as guy or girl. The analogy is that you see somebody attractive, guy or girl. It doesn't matter, right? It's irrelevant. Guy or girl, you see someone attractive. By the way, folks, keep in mind, I promise you, I've been watching. I promise you that H will downvote this chat in 2 seconds once he realizes he's kicked out. But anyways, because I've been surprised he hasn't got downvoted us. So you see someone attractive, and you decide to go up to that person. Now, I'm not the bravest person in the world. Sometimes I feel like I can talk to any woman I want to. Sometimes I don't. I'm not that brave. But I think it takes a special kind of jackassery to see somebody go up to them and be like, hey, I like you. I'd like to take you out. Or more bold, I'd like to have sexual intercourse. That takes some serious balls, right? To just come up to somebody and say that. You haven't found out what their name is. You don't know if they have a ring on their finger. Your first thing is to just turn around. H, you get props. I'm gonna give you props for that. I don't know how in the hell you've done it, but you get props. I'm gonna let you stay in just for, I don't know how you're doing it, but hats off to you, H, for that shit. That's truly something, Boney. That's truly something. But anyway, so I think that's fascinating. I think that's interesting how you do that, right? Like how you can actually have that mentality. You're going to go in and you're going to talk to someone in that way. And so, so again, I said, it doesn't bother me, but there is kind of a cluelessness to it, because what you have to be careful of is that you don't get, put in a weird position where you don't set the expectation. The expectation that you don't want to have. Someone told me, one of my mentors told me back when I was in corporate America, is that H, I don't care if you feel what you said. What you said was ignorant, but you feel what you need to feel. But if I come into your chat or go to your place of work and start saying that everything you believe in is incorrect and it's not, and it's your place, then that would be an asshole move. So again, if you're going to be in this group, just listen, understand where we're coming from and so forth. You can believe what you want to believe on your time, but this is our time. So just make sure you respect what we're about. Okay. But again, hats off to you for sneaking the fuck back in here. You are the cockroach of this chat. So anyways, but you know, I think again, I think the challenge with this is that, and wrong as shit, by the way, because you know what the fuck you're talking about with Apple Black and Clock Striker, truly ignorant on those things, disrespectful to all of our other creators too. But anyways, but enough of that. But anyways, so again, you know, if you're trying to get with something, what you don't do is insult it. What you don't do is insult it, not just with things like what H did, but insult it with a sense of ignorance because you don't know. You just don't know, right? Like, you know, I want to join your company, but you don't know anything about the company. You know, that's an ignorant mentality to have. If you want to join Saturday AM, but you've never read Saturday AM, well, then how ignorant is that? You know, that's how ignorant is that? If you want to, you know, if you go up to Harvard and be like, you know, hey, I like to go to Harvard, and you haven't even finished high school. Hell, you dropped out of high school. Like, how ignorant is that? You know, so what we try to do with Summer of Manga and all our things, just like tonight in this chat with H, what I always try to do is talk real. I try to give people a sense of education as to what the real world is like, because I think too often the internet has empowered people to think that they can behave and act a certain way, and you can't. That's not how the world works. But you know what you can do is you're always entitled to, you know, learn at your pace. But what you're not entitled to do is try to impose what you think on other people and make them contour to what you want in life. That's not how the world works. And so if you want to get a job at a place, and Summer of Manga, again, is a great opportunity for this, then what you need to do is, first of all, learn about it. We always let people know at least 3 weeks in advance, always 3 weeks in advance. So what you do is you don't rush to send in a submission. You research, you read. You know, we got plenty of free issues on our website. Go read the free issues on our website. We have lots of, you know, we've got articles and we got a big website. You know, go spend time, check out the free comics, download the free issues, but spend time engaging in the various things that are happening. That's how you understand whether or not we're even a good fit. Again, you know, we care about diversity, but if your comic is to discuss, if you're like H, if H is like, you know, I don't believe this diversity thing, I've got a comic book about the KKK. Well, that's probably not going to fly with us. So you would probably know that if you checked out our website, any of our previous videos, our magazines, so on and so forth. So you need to learn. You need to invest in yourself to get real understanding of what it is you want to do before you try to impose yourself on someone else or on another company. Because again, you know, that woman or man, what they will do is just ignore you. They'll just go like, ooh, and just walk away, and you'll be, you know, humiliated. What a company will do, though, however, is more insidious, because what a company will do is they will, you know, all these companies, we all know each other, we all talk to each other. So what they'll do is they'll say, man, this one guy is a real asshole. Or this one person, you know, very rude, you know, not particularly good, this, that, and the other, you know, just crazy stuff. It's like, H, I love the fact that offended you. So I'm glad to know you have some boundaries there, but that's good. But, you know, so like, you know, but that's the thing, though. Do not put yourself in that position. Educate yourself, learn, then get involved in what it is you're trying to do. And always get involved with a level of humility. Always ask, what does it take to become a part of what you're publishing? And, you know, and then accept the answer that you're given, you know, because some of these folks will talk to them and they'll want to argue with us about what it is we're trying to do. Like the diversity issue. It's not your place to argue with the company that you're trying to get with. It's your place to understand where they're coming from and then accept it and see if it works for you or not. So, you know, so we get that quite a bit. And I think with Summer of Manga, the reason why we structure it the way we do is because we want to have this discussion. We want to talk to people directly. We want to be in a position to kind of give people a sense of what it is that we're about and what it is that they're doing that we like or don't like. Again, most places aren't going to get that. Most places aren't going to have that opportunity. Most places won't get, you know, like if you apply to Marvel, trust me, when I was a kid, if you send a comic idea into Marvel, Marvel won't even usually won't even respond to you. So that's the difficulty of it. So that's kind of the challenge that exists there. So again, you know, when you watch some of these critique videos that we did several of them for March Madness. I think, you know, I know we did something for one of the, or we're supposed to have done one for the Summer of Manga first wave. We'll probably do something for Summer of Manga in general. Because people really like the critique videos. But the reason we do them is because, again, we want people to understand and hear from our perspective what it is you're doing that we like and what it is you're doing that we don't like. And again, your behavior is a huge part of it. But beyond that is a question of, can you draw? Do you only draw headshots? Do you only draw waist up, or do you actually draw backgrounds? And do your characters look real? Do they have, can they show emotion? Things like that. Do you have character designs that actually are unique? I can't tell you how many times we've seen character designs that are literally Goku, but with a different costume, or literally Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy, but with a different costume. We had one guy last year, Summer of Manga, who went through all this process, and it turned out, we finally figured out that what he did was he copied Black Cat. Remember that manga, Black Cat, from Shonen Jump? He copied literally the character design of the hero and the villain, except he switched the roles. So that the villain was that, and the hero was the other guy. And it took us a minute to figure it out, and he had gotten really far along, but then we figured it out, and he got offended at us. He was like, oh man, look, that's bullshit, yada yada. And you're just like, man, look, that's crazy, So again, I think it's imperative for us to always try to talk truthfully to people, whether it hurts, whether sometimes we challenge what they think they know. Because again, a lot of folks, unfortunately, have not lived long enough to have a good perspective on diversity or on, or on what a good comic is or things. Most people don't have. If you're 17, 18, 19-year-old, I hate to say, but you've not lived enough in life to understand these things. And you may not want to hear the truth, but, there you go. So that's kind of, what we think our role is to not just bring you along, diverse creators along, because you get to join Saturday M. We want to bring you along because we're passing information on to you. We're giving you a chance to be published and be seen. We're giving a chance to actually explore different ideas. We're giving you a chance to reach a large audience. And we're giving you feedback and critical analysis that sometimes may be really challenging to your perceptions of what you thought was the norm. We want to not shatter those. We want to try to help set things up and give you the right understanding. So that's the general idea. So again, that's kind of, where we are, Summer of Manga. We love the event. We got some great critics. We got a young girl from Saudi Arabia who looks amazing. We had someone from India. We got someone from India. Yep. We got someone from India. So yeah, we got some cool stuff coming. And so I'm really excited for this year's Summer of Manga. And again, if this is how Saturday M is. We're going to always be your champions of diversity. We're always going to be very challenging to the status quo and challenging to your perspectives, because we want to try to do our best to give you as much feedback and understanding of things as possible. So that's the best we can put it. So let's see, going back to the comments here, and then we'll move on to other stuff. I think Sergio and Morgan answered Adam's comment, but this is coming. Adam, we've been doing this for 4 years, and of course, from a corporate American standpoint, I've traveled around the world. I've done business with people all over the world, so I know exactly how this goes. And yes, I've made this very clear. I'm an American. I operate the company as an American. So because of that, even though I love, I love diversity, I love international culture. I've lived and traveled to many places around the world, from Asia to Europe and so on. But with all that being said, I can say faithfully that in terms of the way we operate our business, we do it completely from an American sensibility, from a Western sensibility, from an American sensibility. So when we talk dates and so forth, that's why we put the EST in there. So don't mind the 5/10/2018, mind the EST, because once you see the EST, that's when that's when you should know that we're talking Eastern Standard Time. That's it. We're talking Eastern Standard Time, as simple as that. And trust me, I've dealt with White, and we had this guy named Wally Nguyen who was Vietnamese. All these guys back when we started the company, and trust me, I had to very quickly put my foot down often with a lot of our younger creators as to how things operated, because we'd have a deadline to get stuff in. They'd be like, "Oh, I thought you meant 11 p.m. my time." And I'm thinking, like, no, the hell you didn't. You guys all of you guys are a good 20 years younger than me, and so this little iPhone here. You all have a smartphone. This happened years ago, by the way. And so on that smartphone is that clock. And on that clock is digital immediate time that even changes when the daylight saving time changes. So the idea that anybody who is working with or wants to work Saturday AM, who typically is going to be younger than me by a good 10 to 20 years, that any of them are struggling with the idea of the dates that we give is laughable. It's just not reality. So Eastern Standard Time, American sensibilities. If you think that that's why, we talk a lot about Saturday PM, and with Saturday PM, I had a very simple rule. I'm like, I don't mind nudity, and I don't mind violence, but if you have the perception that you're going to do like the Japanese and have like, prepubescent girls and every shot's a panty shot of some 13-year-old girl, like I'm an American and I'm Western, and that's not how things go with us. That's not what we're going to do. If you think that having violence that is sexual in nature, where a tentacle goes up a girl, that's not what we do. That's not the mentality that we have. And so we're not going to do that. That's a Japanese thing. We can be manga and not appear to have some of those quirks that are more representative of Japanese manga. So from that standpoint, the same thing applies to how we conduct our business. All of our time, all of our dates, is very much a Western American sort of sensibility. That's pretty much how we are. So yes, Morgan is the same time zone I am. Thank you, Kwanzaa. He says he's happy to listen to the stream. Let's see. So I know there's some questions here. Let me go back and see some of these questions here. Rosillo Atheric says, what did I think of Netflix anime adaptation of Devilman Crybaby? Like Morgan said, we did a review of it in one of our previous issues. I can't remember the issue. Obviously I think we had lots of people's opinions in there. My opinion is that I thought it was great. I thought it was really challenging. I thought it was well animated. I thought it was good. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I've said before that manga to me is compromised. That it's again, speaking of this thing about we harp on diversity too much. The thing that makes that such an ignorant statement is that the Japanese talk about diversity too much, and you'll say no, they don't, and that's the point. They don't. They do it through the fact that every character you see looks half white or looks white or looks half white or looks Asian or some weird Caucasian Asian sort of look. And the worlds that they create, even if the worlds are meant to exist in the real world, just don't consist of people of African descent, Latino descent, other types of Asian like Indian or Filipino. And so it's really, to me, it's like, they talk about diversity a lot. They just don't talk about it. They just show you the worlds that they create don't feature everybody else in it. And that's really horrible. That's a really ridiculous idea. And I've traveled to Japan. I was an exchange student there. So I know that that's not the mentality of the Japanese, but that's why things like H said have to be challenged all the time. That's why I challenge it all the time. That's why I started this company, because ignorance like that has to be challenged. When you somehow ignore how the world exists for everybody else, then you're really living a lie, and you're asking the rest of us to live your lie, and that's not the real world. What we're trying to do means that everybody gets a voice. Everybody gets a voice, and we champion that. Massively multiplayer World of Ghosts features an Indian lead character and Indian supporting characters. Why? Because Indian people represent a huge percentage of this world, and they like entertainment too. They like manga too. They have to, is H and people like H suggesting that they have to see content that doesn't look like them because that's the world, because diversity is just too much to talk about? No, it's ignorant. It's an ignorant idea. And so, again, I like Devilman Crybaby. I think that the creator, he took a lot of ideas that were multi-ethnic and ideas that were that had different ideas and symbolism in there. He invoked it into the piece. I would love to have seen more diversity in it, but he at least attempted to do more interesting things with the medium. And it was nice to see it. It was nice to see characters who talked about sex normally, as opposed to this thing in Japanese manga and anime where the boy gets a nosebleed every time a girl likes him. Like, I'm so fucking sick of seeing stuff like that. So again, we're trying to change the entire conversation. And so Devilman Crybaby to me, well, not perfect. I thought it was really good. I've been really lukewarm a lot of anime manga lately, although fucking Golden Kamui, I love that. And I'm really digging I can't wait for Vinland Saga to come out. And then, of course, our own anime. I'm hoping, those will hit soon. Let's see here. Oh, so Adam is French. Yeah, same deal, Adam. Yeah, we deal with a lot of French people, too. So same deal, homie. The Devilman 1972 anime. Yeah, I remember that. And they changed it because they didn't want to have such a downer ending. But it was great, though. Devilman's a great work. It was a great series. And so yeah, so I've seen it. I've seen it. I think, in fact, I've actually seen quite a few of the Devilman adaptations. And Devilman was always a character that I liked a great deal when I went to Japan and things like that. I've always liked it because I love the idea that first of all, it looked very superhero. Even though it was nothing like it, it had a very superhero look to it. Especially the more modern versions of Devilman, kind of had the more superheroic look to it. So I loved it. So it was interesting for sure, and I like Devilman. I like the series. I think it's great. Let's see. So I'm going to move on. As most of I know people got more questions, but I'm going to move on to some other topics that we had, and then I promise we'll wrap up with any other questions you guys have. So Saturday AM issue number 86 comes out hopefully next couple of days, and we're really excited about it. It's got a beautiful cover by Morgan Walker of Soul Beat. It's got Soul Beat on the cover. It's got some other hidden things we haven't shown you yet. So I think you guys will really love the cover. It's got a great installment of Soul Beat by Morgan. So really excited about that. Soul Beat's one of those series that, Morgan is just, we've been so blessed, and I'm not particularly religious, so we've been so fortunate to get amazing creators. And it's just amazing to see, the great creators that we have, Morgan and, White Manga and this company and dealing sometimes with some of the fans can drive me up a wall at times, but I can honestly say that I am just the reason why I do this, even though I'm losing money left and right, build this company up, is because I'm so enamored with the creators that we have. We've got amazing creators. That's why we've lasted in so many companies, so many competitors that we've had have not, or have struggled, or are trying to do Hail Mary passes and get big companies to give them money or give them opportunities, because it's tough. It's really tough. And if you don't have a really solid team of creators, it makes it really difficult. So this issue is a great example. We've got, again, Morgan Walker, who's just an extraordinary creator. Like really, really, Morgan's amazing. Soul Beat's a really kick-ass read. If you guys haven't checked it out, check it out. Then we've also got... crap, I'm trying to remember what all we have in this issue. We've got Soul Beat. We have Better Off Ignorant and Hammer. So we have three amazing creators all in this issue. So it's really cool. And we've got a great profile of a book that if you guys want to be better artists, we recommend you check out from one of our vendors called 21 Draw. It's a really cool book to check out. So you've got that as well. And then we've got some other things. I think we talk about Avengers Infinity War in the issue as well. So we've got a little section about Avengers Infinity War, and I rank the top Avengers movies. The top Marvel movies. I rank them. I just rank them, but I give my thoughts on why each one is where they are. So that's kind of where we are with that. Trying to think what else we have. Issue Saturday PM, issue number 2 is coming out. Have you all seen that? Has everybody seen the cover for Saturday PM? It looks really cool. It's got White Manga. He did the cover for. It's got Bakassi, which is his new series, and he's doing exclusively for Saturday PM. Bakassi is it's going to be in the magazine. It's really cool. We've also got a great interview with a really, really attractive cosplayer named Lady Nikoru. And then we've got new content from Jack Sherwin for Dark Web, for Kai Link for Quick Draw, and some other people. Let's see who else is in there. Oh, and then Jeffrey Jean Louis will do the cover. Will do the content for Yellow Stringer. Then in issue 3, which will come out 1 month later. So even though it's supposed to be bi-monthly, because we're so far behind schedule, 1 month later, we will come out with issue 3 of Saturday PM, and that will have on the cover Yasuke the Black Samurai, which is a real character in Japanese history. It was an African samurai named Yasuke, and so we're really, really excited about the series. It's drawn and written by Robert Bonans, and so we're really excited about this. And so he's going to be on the cover and be a significant part of issue number 3, which will also include Bakassi, which will also include Quick Draw, and also include Yellow Stringer and other stuff. So you can see Saturday PM will just get bigger with each issue. It'll get bigger, and so we're really pumped about that. And yeah, so that's so I'm so excited about Saturday PM. If you guys haven't checked it out, the first issue is available for free. We have a link. If you go to our blog, you can find a link for it, and you can download the issue for free. I highly recommend you check it out. It's a great issue, great development. It's only going to get better. And then beyond that, Saturday AM, 2 weeks after, because the Saturday AM issue number 86 comes out not this weekend, but like Monday or Tuesday. Then we go to WizardWorld Philly, and then we come back. And when we come back, we'll then have issue number 87. And I'm trying to think what's on the cover of that one. That one's Paradise Downs. So Paradise Downs on the cover of that one, and that will include Mutton Chop and Hammer, and I'm trying to think what else. I think there's another title in there. And then Summer of Manga begins with issue number 88, and that's going to have a cover by Jay Oden featuring Hammer. So we're really excited. We're really stoked about the content that's coming. And I want to talk a little bit about advertising, which we're going to get into in a moment, because it's really important. I really want to get to the advertising, but I see some more questions, so I'll answer those real quickly, and then we'll get to that, and then I'll finish up with any more questions that you have. So let's see here. So Dallasification says Vinland Saga is so good. I agree. I can't wait for the anime. Again, this is a title that, I'm African American. This is all white people, but damn, that's good. It's so good. And it's and the thing about it is that it's diversity. This is a Japanese creator who actually researched exhaustively about the history of kind of the Nordic culture, the Viking era, Finland and Greenland, Iceland, and he puts notes in this volume. I've bought every volume that's come out. You see the notes in the volume and stuff. And so it's just such an amazing work of a master creator. And again, this is diversity, though. This is not about the Japanese character. It's not a Japanese person trying to pull their sensibilities into it, except for a couple of artistic flourishes. This is, a exhaustive, researched depiction of what life was like in that time period in that country. And you've never read anything like it, which is the point of diversity. So amazing work. I can't wait for the anime for that. Let's see. Cook says, when any of the manga on this channel getting an anime adaptation? We're working on it. Again, Mutton Chop, we had a anime short for that one, which if you were a subscriber, you got to see it in the last issue. We'll make it available for people at some point on our YouTube channel, but the next place you can see it is at WizardWorld Philly. But we've had discussions. We've got discussions happening, and we'll announce it when we're ready. So it'll be different than I think what a lot of people think. It'll be cool, but I think we're going to shock people with how we do it. We'll see. Rosillo says, thanks for taking the time to answer, even though it wasn't in an issue. Oh, yeah, no problem, Rosillo. I've been watching all the time, but now decided to comment. That's Dragon Master. Well, thank you, Dragon Master. Dragon Master, your icon looks just like H's. So considering that I couldn't get H kicked out of here to save my life, I take it you are H's long-lost brother. Let's see. Greg B says, the 1972 anime gives me a mixture. Oh, this is still about Devilman. Adam Songambele says, do any of you ever watch Ergo Proxy? I've never seen Ergo Proxy. Like I said, there's a lot of anime I don't watch just because it's not very diverse, and a lot of it's just the same thing over and over again. I just, I can't get into that. Let's see. Dragon Master says Saturday AM is on a break, but Mr. Fred is still hard at work. Fred never takes a vacation. Trust me. I hope I live long enough. Dylan says he needs to resubscribe to premium again. His just ran out. And so, yeah, I mean, definitely check into it. And Dylan, I know you would ask about the advertising. And basically, you can do a free slot in the community page we've got. You can do a free slot there. So we're certainly happy to help with that for sure. Because since you've been a premium subscriber back when we were giving away things like that. So, absolutely. Dylan's going to a con next month. That's cool, Dylan. Yeah, it's a lot of work. These conventions. I'm not a big fan of going to conventions, but we do it again to meet our fans, and I do it as well to get my people engaged with what Saturday M is all about, meeting our fans. I think it's important for all of our creators to experience Saturday M literally, with people, and not just sit at a desk like I'm doing and doing it through a screen. It's Saturday M is important for people to experience in person. Let's see. Greg B says, he loved the Bukasi preview. Yep. Thank you. It was great. White's killing it. He's been working. A lot of people have been wondering where he was at, and it's like he's been working on Bukasi. Let's see here. Gothic Princess says, can it be color only in screen tones? And I'm not sure what you mean by that, Gothic Princess. I don't know what you mean by that. What you have to explain to me what you mean by can it be in color or only in screen tones? I'll wait till you type it because I honestly don't know. Chapter pages for Saturday M. Yeah, I mean so I don't know if you're talking about like in Summer of Manga. I mean, again, the creators who are with Saturday M exclusively have different, they have different metrics of what they have to do or different guidelines for what they have to do. But Got the Princess, I mean, chapter pages. I mean, I don't know in what context you're talking about. If you're talking about for Summer of Manga, you don't have to. They don't have to be in color. They can be in black and white. Obviously, most of our magazines in black and white, so that's perfectly fine. But some people like to do color, and so J. Odin stuff is in color. White occasionally does stuff in color. Clock Strike occasionally has stuff in color. I don't know if Soul Beats ever had anything in color, but we certainly have some stuff in color. So it just depends. But yeah, it's not a. There's no mandate for it to be color or not. Whatever, as long as it's good, we don't really have an issue. Let's see here. TR Comics says, "Do you ever go look at random Instagram pages?" No, I don't. Well, yeah, I do. Yeah, take them. I'm sorry. Yeah, I do. Yeah, sure. I mean, sometimes I'm in the grocery store or I'm in line somewhere and I'm flipping through Instagram and sure, absolutely. I'm like everybody else. I flip through there and see what people are doing and so forth. And there are people who are amazingly created. We used to do a thing called Instagram Discoveries, which we'll probably do again, where people who are really, really good, we'll ask to interview them and we'll interview them in the magazine. Exposing them hopefully to new people that didn't know who they were. So yeah, I mean, we do that. Yeah, I mean, if that's your question, yeah, we certainly do that. Do I do it in the context of trying to see what's out there in terms of competition or people that we want to get? The answer is no, not too much anymore, and that's because things like Summer of Manga and then the fact that we have a lot of creators who are really popular. Jay Odin and Blake Showers and White Manga and people who are getting popular like Morgan and Andrea Voros is popular. So we have just Jamie Molina and Tony Dawkins and the Mutton Chop guys. I mean, it's like we're getting our guys are becoming little mini celebrities, and so because of that, there are a lot of talent that comes to us through some of our events or through knowing some of our creators, and then our creators will tell us about them. White has told me about several people that, I don't always, choose to work with them, but he's told me about several creators that he thinks we should talk to. And some I've reached out to and some I've been like, nah. So yeah, I mean, we get approached by a lot of creators. And so it's not too much of a thing for us at this point. Let's see. So Adam says he wishes he could fly there to meet us at the convention. Adam, you can always fly, man. I know you're sitting on fat money. Pull that money out of that bank account, get a plane, and fly on over here next week. You can do it, Adam. Y'all don't know, but Adam is one of those French rich people. Javon Hamilton says, I know this might be off topic, but Freddie, have you ever considered coming to the Caribbean? Oh, I did see that. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'd love to go to the Caribbean, dude. I mean, I'd love to take Saturday AM everywhere except for like in the middle of a war zone. So, yeah, so, literally, but we get asked all the time, like, are you coming here? You coming there? I would go any damn where, provided that, you know, yeah, I mean, basically, I'd go there anywhere if it was, if I could. So it's really it's just a question of, what is the event and are we able to do it and things like that. And if we can, if things are set up to where we can go do that, then it works out perfectly for us, So yeah, so that's as good as I can get for you, man. I see Angel's comment there about media. I'm pretty sure I could have swore we had the media page was set up. Let me check and see here. My bad. I thought it was on there. Angel, I'm glad you said that. I have to look it up and see why that link was not fixed. I would do it now, but I can't. But trust me, podcast. If you go on iTunes or any of your favorite podcasters and type in Saturday AM Daily, you'll find it. I've seen it. My parents have listened to it, so it's there. I don't know why the link isn't doing that. My bad. My bad, Adam. I thought you were sitting on that fat stacks from France, man. My bad. I ain't taking no tanks. I'm not going to a war zone. You can trust me on that one. Tamachi says, it's good to see all you again. Does anyone like Black Clover? Do you think it'll be a manga that won't be successful? I don't know. I mean, I'd be curious what you guys think. I've not watched it. I saw the first like 2 episodes. First of all, I didn't care for the manga, so I mean, I think the guy who does it is extremely talented. I like his stuff quite a bit. It's just not my cup of tea. I mean, I have no ill will towards him, and I don't, think the manga is a travesty. But for me, I mean, it's too similar to Naruto for me to enjoy it. I'm a huge fan of Naruto, and that one is just too close to Naruto for me to enjoy it. And but like I said, I really like the artist. I like his stuff, but it's not for me. And when I saw the anime too, the choice they had for the actor, the Japanese version, the actor for the main character, I think his name is Asta. I'm not sure, but he screams all the time. I just that didn't work for me, man. So I've not watched it. I was trying to watch tonight. I've not watched any of the new My Hero Academia, so I was trying to get caught up on that. And I do like Golden Kamui, like I said. I haven't kept up with Gintama either, the anime, and I know it's supposed to be ending. So yeah, I haven't caught up with too much anime, but I'd be curious to know what you guys think of Black Clover. I know that with Black Clover that evidently has changed somewhere down the road. I know that. They killed. Well, I guess I shouldn't say this if you haven't read it or if you want to read it or watch it. But I know there's a major death, and that surprised me because I thought the guy that they killed was actually the leader of the bad guys. That's what I suspected to happen when I first read it. I thought, well, that would actually make this a unique manga if they actually went there. They didn't. So I don't know. I mean, to me, like I said, it's just not my cup of tea. It doesn't strike me as very very unique. I like Hunter x Hunter. To me, that's a great original shonen work, but that's it. And Violent Evergarden, Dylan, I've never heard of that, so I have to look that up. I've never heard of that one. Let's see. King Archie, bringing it back to other stuff. King Archie says, I'm on the verge of making my own manga later this year. Do you have any tips? And King Archie, we've got a lot of videos that talk about that, but I'm certainly happy to answer questions that you may have. I think I'm happy to answer questions you may have specifically while we're doing this chat. But we've got a lot of videos that talk to this. I don't know what answer you want me to give you. But what I can say is that the one thing I can say to be careful of is to not wait to do it. That's the one thing that we get so many people who as I said earlier, is people who like, have want to join Saturday AM. One of the things that always strikes me as bizarre is that if you want to create manga, so this is something I tell writers, but this goes for everybody. But I often get this comment from writers, and they go, or people who they'll go, and I don't know if this is you. What's your name? Crap, I forgot. Oh, King Archie. I don't know if this is you, King Archie, but a lot of times I get notes from people, and they'll go, hey, so I'm a writer. I mean, no, they'll say I have a manga idea, and I'm working on a manga idea. I've been working on it for 2 years, something like that. And trust me, I hear that so frequently that it literally is like 2 years, 3 years, some crazy ass thing. And the thing about it that I always find fascinating is that, so, I've told this story. So those of you guys are going to hear this story. You can close your ears or take a sip or whatever you do. But, so I am older than most of you. I'm old. I'm confident I'm probably 20 years older than H and some of the other people here. But I know I'm 20 years older than a lot of you guys. And, when I was younger, back in the dark days of the internet, to make a comic book was really hard. It was really hard. Like, you couldn't just be like, I'm going to make a comic book. Like, it was super hard. Like, you had to get someone to draw the comic if you weren't an artist. Then you had to draw it and so forth. You didn't have digital tools. You had to do everything by hand. If you were lucky, maybe you had a scanner, which was super expensive. Maybe my parents had a scanner, so I could use their scanner. But that was if you were lucky. Most people didn't. So you had to go through a lot. Then you had to get it printed, which cost money. So you could bullshit your way on the scanner and on someone who was an artist, but you couldn't bullshit on a printer. You had to actually pay someone to make copies. That's the only way they'd see it. That's the only way someone would see your comic book. You had to actually physically make it. So you go out there and you make this stuff. And so you go out there and you do that. And after you did that, you then would have to go and, go to a convention. Conventions cost money. They cost money then, they cost money now. So you'd have to find a convention. And there are less conventions then than there were now. So you have to go to these dingy, dark, weird little conventions, hoping that you could meet an artist who actually drew professionally for a company. And maybe they would take one of your comic books and maybe they would like it enough that they would then give you the phone number that they might have in a Rolodex, or they would call you later or send you a letter, not an email, but a letter later telling you who you need to reach out to with the address at Marvel, DC, Diamond, someone like that, to get them your comic. Think about all of those steps. You had to go through. And it costs a lot of money. Now, you guys have no steps. If you have an idea for manga, you could create it right now. So, if you're an artist, you can create it right now. And if you're not an artist, then, find an artist, and pay them some money or pay them in food and get them to draw and then upload it to any of the websites that are out there. My point is that when it comes to advice like this, the only real advice that really matters is, unless you're trying to learn, which I think someone said, you can learn, you can go to Mark Crilly or White Manga's channels and learn, because they're going to teach you how to draw. They don't know anything about publishing. They're going to teach you how to draw. But, or at least Mark Crilly doesn't. Mark Crilly might, I don't know. I know White doesn't, but they're going to teach you how to draw. And that's great. And they can teach you how to draw great. But when it comes to the business side of it, which is what I'm all about, there is no short answer other than just go out there, do the work, upload it to a place that you want to upload it to, start trying to get fans, do it regularly, update it every couple of days, but do a new update to the website, make your own website if you want to, promote it on Instagram, Facebook, places like that, Twitter, and just give yourself a story to do. That's why we ask in Summer of Manga for a short story, because we know that too many people have this idea that they have a loose concept for a comic book. And so in their mind, that's all they got to do. That's all they got to do is come up with some loose idea for a comic book. That's weird. That's really bizarre. Like, you shouldn't, that's kind of bizarre. So what you should want to do is, on the flip side, you should want to go in and actually have a real idea. And maybe you don't know what that real idea is, but if you commit yourself to say, I'm going to create a comic book that's 40 pages long. I'm going to update. I'm going to do 10 pages, upload them, and then I'm going to do a page every week. And if you just do that example, it will give you an opportunity to learn a great deal about what you can do, about how people respond to your work when you put it out there. And trust me, a lot of that stuff is compared to when I was a kid, is totally free. So I would recommend that, because the reality is that there's really no other advice you can get, right? Nothing except for doing it, is going to give you experiences of what it feels like to make a comic book. I can't teach you how to be organized. I can't teach you how to be a marketer. I can't teach you how to create content fast. You know, how to create content that people want to see. These are things that you only really get a sense of once you've put stuff out there for people to consume. So you got to try to do that. You got to try to do that. Let's see here. John Mendoza says, good luck in Philly. Thanks, John. I got to catch up on Hero Academia. I'm going to do that, DM. Adam says, do you have any other events where you critique other people's manga outside of Summer of Manga event? No, but we did do, we critique people. You can see the videos on our YouTube channel. If you go to this YouTube channel, we did a really extensive critique session for March Madness. So we have this thing called March Art Madness. We do it every year. And this has artists from all over the world come, and they basically commit to this tournament that we have on our website. And they win. The winner, he's getting an iPad. He's getting an iPad plus an Apple Pencil as grand prize, and they get some other prizes as well, free subscriptions, books, all that stuff. But yeah, man, you know, that's a hell of a thing. And so we did that, and you know, we did a 5-part critique session. It was really well received. A lot of people liked it. So so yeah, you can see that, and we talk a lot there. I mean, you get a lot of the same sound bites as it relates to artwork and things you have to do with art. When it comes to manga and storytelling, it's a little bit different because art can be objective. There are things that people can do art-wise, just like, you know, if you play basketball or sports, there are things that there's just routine stuff you have to be able to do to call yourself an artist. But when it comes to storytelling, you know, there are some routine things there, of course, but there's also some subjective things. Because if you just have if your idea is just stupid, it's just stupid. It doesn't matter, you know, like that's how people are going to feel about it. But it still could be entertainingly stupid, you know. Some people didn't like Avengers Infinity War. I loved it, you know. So, you know, so stories are a bit harder to critique. But, you know, at the end of the day, yeah, we want to try to critique more short stories. And again, when you're critiquing a manga, a short story is the way to do it. That's why we do Summer Manga as short stories, because we have no intention of trying to let you bullshit your way through life thinking, I'm going to make an 18-volume epic, and you've never created a webcomic before. You've never done this before. Like, you're bullshitting yourself if you think that. And we're not going to let you you're not going to bullshit us, at least. And we're going to probably help you not bullshit yourself. But that's ridiculous. So we do, I think the only real fair way to do it is say, hey, do a short story. We're going to give you 10 pages, 15 pages. If you're a storyteller, you can tell a story in 10 to 15 pages, 5 pages even, if you're a storyteller. If you're not, you can't. Because in your mind, you're trying to create something that's just an idea. You've never sat down to actually do it. So, again, we'll probably do some more critiques this summer. I don't know when, but we'll probably do a few more, but nothing official. We'll probably just take the Summer of Manga stuff that we did and critique those. So, Greg B says, I am a strict shoujo artist and a devotee of, oh, yeah, Clamp. Yeah, I remember those guys, yeah. As an African-American male, oh, that's different. Wow. That's quite unheard of. It sure is, Greg B. Wow, that's cool. That's diversity, Greg B. To hear you accept shoujo submission Summer Manga, you were related. That's great. Yeah, I mean, of course we do. Why wouldn't we? Yeah. I mean, we're shonen, but shoujo is literally, all shoujo means is shonen, but for girls. That's all shoujo means. Shoujo doesn't mean like, you know, I mean, shoujo literally means shonen, but for girls. That's all it means. It's teenage girl comics, just the same way teenage boy comics are. Captain Marvel is a female superhero. One of them was a female superhero. Boys can enjoy it just as much as girls can, but if you're a girl, you can probably get something more out of it. And so that's all there is to it, you know. So definitely happy. Greg, I hope you entered the Summer of Manga. I hope you entered that, because I would love to see your stuff. Now, knowing that you're a guy, I'd love to see that. Let's see. Let's see here. Yeah, so Andrew, yeah, we do. Yeah, we're gonna do it. We got a diversity panel, and then we at WizardWorld we always do a diversity panel, or any convention we go to. We do a big panel of diversity. It's always well received. And then we do a panel on publishing or the economics of creating comics and stuff. We try to walk through the things to look out for when you're creating manga, financially, so that you don't lose your house, or your apartment or your car. We try to, walk you through those things. So let's see here. TR Comics says, so far I have 2 web comics. I never thought about doing a page a week. I have people asking me when I'm going to come out with a new chapter. I'm going to do that. That's great. Well, yeah, I mean, if you've got fans, TR Comics, then you should be doing that. I mean, if you got fans, and feed your fans. The conventional wisdom, by the way, of web comics is that if you create a web comic and you update it once or twice a week for 10 years, and just listen to that, for 10 years, you will build enough of a fan base that you will start making money and don't have to do anything else, and can do what you love for the rest of your life. Think about that. The idea is that if you create content regularly, over 10 years, you will build about 1,000 fans a month who are willing to give you, let's say, $5 a month. So $5 times 1,000 fans per month is $5,000. Times 12 is $60,000. You won't be rich, but you'll be able to live a decent life depending on where you live in that context. So from that perspective, it's a very conventional wisdom, but a lot of people who've made webcomics and for a long time talk about this. Obviously, that's not our game plan, but it is a game plan for a lot of people. So the thing here is that, again, when I see stuff like what you just said, I have 2 webcomics. Again, look, if you've got a webcomic and people are legitimately excited about it, then you already are further along than most people. Do the work, post to it every week. Keep trying to build that fan base. Do promotions with them. Say, hey, who likes this week's comic? If you write me a nice note, I'll send you a free sketch or something like that. But do things to engage them, and I promise you. The thing is that it's going to take 10 years. Let's say even that's wrong. Let's say it takes 8 years. It's still going to take time, and I think a lot of people, unfortunately, as I said before, when it took people in my generation to make a comic book, it took a lot of money and time. Nowadays, you guys can do things super fast, and I think it's built. With some of you guys, it's built this sort of idea that the world works fast like that. And so the idea of appreciating something's maturity, meaning that something takes time to become, what it's meant to be. I think sometimes a lot of young people disrespect that. They don't like that because they want it to happen now. But, TR Comics and anybody else, if you've got a webcomic right now and you've done it for a little while and you've got people asking for it, you don't need to be talking to us. You need to just be doing that regularly and keep doing it. And commit to it, and over a couple of years, just start to make some money out of it. I think that's an accurate assumption. Let's see. Dragon Master says, which is true. Dragon Master says something which is damn true. I tell my guys this. So he says, I have to hurry and define my skills so I can join Saturday AM. The longer I take to join, the more popular you guys will become, and it may be as hard as Shonen Jump competition to get in. So let me say this. Without meaning to sound arrogant, because obviously that's not my intention. But Morgan and anyone else in Saturday AM who's on this chat can tell you that I've said this to them before. This is Saturday AM, okay? We're doing this, okay? Now here's the problem. Whether you're inside of Saturday AM as one of our exclusive creators, White Manga, Morgan Walker, Tony Dawkins, Raymond Brown, and you're in with us, right? And you're here neck and neck with us. If you are not staying consistent with us and you're staying here, that's not good. That's not good. Because the point of what Dragon Master is inferring there is that as we get bigger, we get more interest from big companies, we get more interest from bigger creators, and as a result of that, the expectation our fans have is here. Not here, is here. Conversely, if you are coming into Saturday AM and you're here, or you're trying to get to Saturday AM, you're here, and we're here, like, we're not going to go, wait, and I'm not picking on you, Dragon Master. Oh, Dragon Master wants to join us. Let's come back. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. So there's no question that, yes, I think, and again, this is the point I was making earlier in the chat, is when you get people sometimes who they have an ignorant view of things. They expect their view of things to be your view of things. And as I said to H earlier, like, we're not trying to talk to H. H is here in our chat. If we were in his chat, it'd be a different story. But he's in our chat, so it's what we're about is what he needs to worry about. And same thing goes for everybody else. Like, if you're trying to get with someone else or entertain or involve yourself with someone else, you're playing by their rules. You're not playing by your rules. You're playing by their rules. And so the problem with that is that you're not going to change. If Saturday M's doing this, you're not going to change us. You've got to meet us at the level that we're at or grow with us accordingly, because that's how the world works. And I tell my artists, what the other thing I talk about how it's like being a model. It's like being a model. If you are, a beautiful woman model, or handsome male model, big shoulders or big breasts or what have, beautiful face, yada, yada. Every day there's another model coming along, just, who's better looking than you are. Every day there's a better looking model coming along. So if you don't have that ability to self-analyze, to question what you think, and to evolve and practice and get better and better. If you lack that ability, then you'll never get with us or anybody else. You'll stay with people who are around your level, because every single day there are other people coming in who will be like you, if not better than you already. So it's a constant game of needing to perfect what it is you're trying to do. Because if you're not rising, you're going to be left out. And that's not a negative thing to drag master. That's just a truism for everybody. That's true in corporate America. That's true if you're you could be the manager of a local, grocery store or a local Starbucks. Same thing. If you're not constantly looking to analyze what you do and make it better and be more consistent and be more quality, then you will eventually get replaced or get left out in the cold, because no one's waiting for you to get better. The expectation is that you keep getting better and better. Let's see. Tamachi says, crap. Now lose this. Tamachi says, I hope you get a good understanding of how to do your panels. That's why. Okay. King Arch says, thanks for telling me about the little things I need to know about making my manga. Yeah, so good. I'm glad if people seem to like the 1 page a week deal. Do that. Will Zero says, will we do a third wave of Summer of Manga? As I said earlier in the chat, we got so many entries in for wave 1. I don't think we got that many entries in for wave 2. We got a ton in for wave 1, and many of them made it through. They were going to publish them, at least, if they get us to work, we'll publish it. I'm doubtful we'll do a wave 3, but anything is possible. Anything is possible, so we'll find out. I don't know yet. Adam says, the story concept that combines the Matrix and Batman, would that be interesting to anyone? And yeah, I think so. I mean, I have a concept called the pitch. And to me, a pitch is where you take one idea and you put it to another idea. So if I said to you, Batman meets Yu-Gi-Oh!, your brain immediately starts to put those things together. And either you like it or you don't. But that's a pitch. That's what an effective pitch looks like. Transformers meets superheroes. It's a pitch. And if you can't, put it together, then that's the problem. So it's not a problem per se for you. It's a problem for other people. But the bottom line is that a pitch is either meant to impress people or not. Either they like it or they don't. It's that simple. Let's see here. Sorry, 1 second. Folks, going to be wrapping up here in about 10 minutes. So give me 1 second here. All right, so we're going to wrap up in 10 minutes. Let me answer these questions here. Adam Songa Ballet says, can anyone give him websites we can upload your comic for free? I'll let you guys tell Adam. We don't tell our competitors, man. We don't give our competitors here, Adam. I'll let the rest of them feed you that craziness. VS Studio says, did you read the My Hero Academia parody from Interactive Press called My Hero Magademia? No. No, I haven't. And I hope that Magademia is not, is not meant to be Trump. Ugh. Let's see here. Will says it's been challenging, but I hope you guys, I hope I can meet the challenge. It's great. Dylan Kiefer, Batman vs. Yu-Gi-Oh. No, but I think someone actually had that idea. They pitched to us in pilot manga. That's why I always use it, because it was I thought it was such a clever setup. In fact, I forgot. I think they were like Egyptian, and I really wanted to see it, but they had it. They were trying to do some crazy stuff with it, and we couldn't get with that. But I love the idea, so I've always used it as just a pitch. I have no intention of doing it myself, but I always use it as the pitch example, because to me it's such a brilliant pitch idea that makes your mind think, and it's like, So let's see here. Let's see. NK Aotics says, hello everyone. I've been lurking since the start of the stream. Well, nice to meet you, NK Exotics. Ex Gothic Princesses. When are we going to get to know who got passed for Wave 2 of Summer Manga? It just finished last night, Gothic Princess, so it's going to probably be about 5. I mean, plus we got the convention coming up, so I wouldn't expect an answer. The earliest we'll get it is probably next Thursday. By next Thursday, the latest will be after we get back from the convention. So, all right. So, like I said, we got about 10 minutes left. I'm wrapping this thing up at 12:30. So, any questions you guys got, I'll answer them. Shoot them through. Again, and we actually, while you guys are doing that, I'll say real quick, I'll just recap. So, Summer Manga, we've had a really fun run with Summer Manga. We really enjoyed the stuff that we got. I'm really excited. Just really excited. So we'll see. Veteran comics writer Chuck Dixon. Chuck Dixon, I read your stuff as a kid. I always loved your comics. I think you and I politically have different ideas, but I loved your comics as a young man. Big fan of yours. If you're on this chat, Chuck Dixon, someone told me you were. So hats off to you. Anyways, yeah. So Summer Manga, we'll be doing the next version of Summer Manga. We may do a version 2 of that later. I don't know. A third wave. I don't know if we'll do that yet, but we'll see. Certainly, we'll be doing Summer Manga live, where you can come to WizardWorld Philly and present us your stuff, and we'll critique it and check it out, and hopefully, find some great content to run an upcoming issue. Saturday AM issue number 86 comes out in the next couple of days. It has Soul Beat on the cover. If you want to advertise, I was going to talk about advertising. I guess Chuck Dixon wasn't on here, but I do remember Chuck Dixon. I was a big fan of his stuff, even though politically he and I are most certainly not on the same page with stuff. But yeah, so I want to talk a little bit about the ads. I'll talk about that here in a minute. But issue 86 comes out in a couple of days. Issue 87 features Paradise Down on the cover. That comes out 2 weeks from now. Both, you can buy ads for both of those. We'll talk about that in a minute. Saturday PM, you can buy ads for. That comes out the beginning of June, and then the beginning of July, issue number 3 comes out. Bakassi by White Manga, his first original manga since Apple Black, which is published exclusively with Saturday AM, will run inside of Saturday PM, which is our adult magazine. So if you want to check out White Manga's new series, subscribe and check out Saturday PM issue number 2, which comes out at the end of this month or beginning of next month. Our video game is still coming along. I'm hoping to have some stuff to announce about it soon, but it's still looking like end of the year. We have it's called Webcomic Rumble. We're doing it in conjunction with Marmot Media. We're going to be again at WizardWorld Philly next week. We'll be there from May 17th through the 20th. We'll be there all 4 days. There'll be myself, White Manga, Frederick Ward, creator of Comet Man, Blake Showers, creator of a new series for us called Tortuga Force 5. David Yoon, creator of Spoon, and Lukman Otiloro, creator of Better Off Ignorant, and Mark Reed, creator of Z Forever. We'll all be at the show together, and so you guys can come see us. We're going to be getting drinks and stuff, definitely Friday or Saturday night, so you can certainly come see us and so forth if you're in the area. I think that was everything I had to say. So I'm going to talk about ads in a minute here. Let me get these questions real quickly. Adam says, I seem like a terrific guy. It's not common to see a CEO actually interact with the consumers. I don't know if I'm a terrific person, but I certainly I appreciate interacting with our fans. Like I said, we wouldn't be where we are without our fans. We still have a long way to go, so we need more fans, and we need more fans paying to keep what we do active. But I'm very appreciative of our fan base, and also, like I said, what we stand for is what we stand for. As you saw earlier tonight with the young person H. That's not. I don't. Play the game of letting people try to dictate what we should think. So we stand for diversity. It's that simple, and that's what we're about. That's what we're going to always be about. And so from that standpoint, I think people appreciate us because they know exactly what we stand for. There's no, we're not some corporate entity that's just here to suck your money. We have a larger belief system and a larger progressive idea of what companies should be doing. And we're focused on doing what we do. And so, again, whether you like it or not, at least we're sincere about what we believe in, and that's what our business is all about. So from that standpoint, I take me being cool. I appreciate that. So somebody says, if you could hang out with any Saturday AM fictional character, who would it be and why? It would be, so we have a crossover series coming up called Saturday Wars. It's where all of our characters meet each other. And so I've written it years ago, actually, because this was something we're supposed to do. I think we planned our first year. So I actually wrote the plot years ago, and now I'm just fixing it, tweaking it, because it's going to have obviously newer characters in there. But if I had to choose who I wanted to meet, I definitely want to meet Bully Eater Asal, because the way that I envision his character is very, very funny to me. Cast, of course, I think she's badass. The way I'm rewriting right now some scenes of some of the newer characters in there, and I very much like Dante from Soul Beat. I have a idea of how his voice how he would behave, and I like that a lot. And Issa from Spoon. I kind of like Spoon too. I think that'll probably my first list. Sal from Bully Eater, Cass from Clock Striker, Dante from Soul Beat, and Spoon. Yeah, and then possibly Issa from Better Off Ignorant. Yeah, I think that would be my list. Yeah, the way, and you'll see when Saturday Wars comes out, you'll see their personality. All the characters are cool. They all have their moments, but those characters particularly have some very interesting quirks. I think that I see in those characters. Let's see here. Let's see here. About the Saturday video game. Oh, the Saturday video game. Yeah, the Saturday video game is free, but there are things that you could pay for it. So I can tell you that. Yeah, it'll be mobile. It'll be iOS and Android. So yeah. Let's see. Angel Lewis says a Saturday PM monthly. Yeah, I said earlier that because we've been delayed in getting Saturday PM out, it's going to be monthly for the next 2 issues. So issue 2 comes out beginning of June. Issue 3 comes out beginning of July. And then I think we'll be back on schedule. Issue 4 will come out close to around September, October timeframe. Dragon Master says, great stream. Has anyone ever compared my name to Fred Jones from Scooby-Doo? No, but they have compared me. I have an older brother named Lamont, and so we used to get compared to an old TV show called Sanford and Son, and there was Fred, who was the dad, and Lamont was his son. So my brother and I would always get called Sanford and Son because of that. Let's see. Kwanzaa says he would hang out with Ayumi. She seemed lonely as hell. Those are some creepy feelings. Santa was cool too, yeah. So Angel says, have we received any interviews lately for Saturday AM? No. And so we're trying to, I mean, we have some people who wanted to interview us, but I don't know if we've ever heard back from them. We're trying to get, more professional PR set up because obviously we have a lot of stuff that we want to do and continue to get the word out. But yet, as of now, no, we haven't. TR Comics says Caesar, he's badass. White manga makes some cool characters. Yep, that's cool. So a lot of people talking about they'd hang out with let's see, with Sano and things like that. Yep. So okay, yeah, Sano would be cool. Yeah, I agree. Okay, so while you guys are talking about that, I want to talk real quickly about advertising. So we would love for you to advertise with Saturday AM, and I want to explain what the benefits of advertising with us are. So a couple of things, again, like the young TR Comics said they had a webcomic or 2 webcomics, another page. Dylan Kiefer has, he's writing books and so forth. I think, again, we come back to the question I got at the very beginning of this. I talked about where people were like, Saturday AM, I'd like to join, I think the thing that always stands out to me when it comes to creators who want to join Saturday AM is, number one, is that obviously, again, we're small companies. We can't publish everybody. So the chances of us publishing the vast majority of people, even on this chat, is, very close to zero. It's just really hard to manage to do that. Number two is that, plus we also have a policy, and we try to have titles that are all different. If someone else came to us with a series about a black female lead character with a metallic hand, we'd say no, So we keep it different because we've had a lot of knockoffs of. We had one guy try to do a Clock Striker thing, and it was so obviously Clock Striker. It was a young Spanish boy, but he had a metal arm, and he was a blacksmith, and it was like, that's Clock Striker. So and then we get knockoffs of Apple Black all the time. So again, my point is to say that it's very, so the vast majority of people who want to get with Saturday AM just won't, because we just don't have the ability to support every creator, and we try to have a system that supports the creators that we do have. But so then advertising really represents a unique thing, because the thing that always gets me when people talk about joining Saturday AM is that I'm always kind of stuck with this notion of, what have you done to do, to put yourself out there? Do you have a webcomic? Well, if you don't have a webcomic, what it says to me is that you want to join Saturday AM because you like the way we market stuff. You like that logo, you like the series that we have, and you think that, well, if my series was with them, I would be more successful. And, chances are that's not true, even though it's very flattering, but chances are that's not true. That's not true of any context. If your idea got to be put into Marvel Comics next to Spider-Man and Hulk, chances are it will sell like a lot of Marvel comic books with characters bigger than your character that they get canceled after 10 to 15 issues, like Night Thrasher or Hawkman from DC. Those comics will, the Atom, Ant-Man, those comics will never last more than 5, 10, 15 issues. But every couple of years they'll make a new Ant-Man comic or the Wasp comic or whatever. And therefore your comic idea that doesn't have it, its own movie behind it, probably won't even last that long, right? I mean, it's just reality. So my whole thing is, first of all, again, because it's so easy to make a webcomic, go make a webcomic. You never know. We may look at it and go, man, that webcomic kicks ass. Come join Saturday AM or Saturday PM. That could happen. That totally could happen. Not saying it would, but it could happen. It'd be more possible to happen because we would know that you actually are someone who can create content, that you can do it regularly, that you're not just talk. You actually have done stuff. The second thing, though, is that if you're doing it, then what you also think that we want to see you do is we want to see you advertise it. We want to see you tell people about it. Because if all you think you have to do is draw the comic, then you're really missing the big picture. And that's the problem that really stands out, is when we see young creators who are missing the big picture, which is that those days are gone, folks, that you don't have to work to show your work. Like, those days are gone. They're gone. You have to put yourself out there. So if you got to put yourself out there, you got to put yourself out there. You got to be willing to put yourself out there and take the knocks and let people know what you're doing. And sometimes they'll come and attack you for it. Sometimes they'll give you good feedback. Sometimes they'll tell you that it's not very good, but you've got to be willing to put the work in. So because of that, we created this advertising model because we can't publish everybody. So the advertising model works like this. With our magazine, you're going to be seen by thousands of people, and then another 10,000 or so people, tens of thousands of people, because it'll be on our website. So what's happening with our magazine right now is that subscribers get the issue first, and we're talking by months, right? Issue 86 will come out sometime in the next couple of days. Our subscribers will get it. We then will have it available on the website for free, but that won't happen for damn near 3 months. It'll be 3 months before that issue is available on the website to read for free. And even then, it'll only be free for a couple of weeks. So if you buy an ad in the magazine, you are reaching people who paid money to read our magazine, and you're featuring your content, even though it's not a comic story, but it's a really cool ad that will help you design, and it'll be featured next to Apple Black, next to Clock Striker, next to Soul Beat, Mutton Chop, yada yada. Then 3 months later, so you're going to get that audience, and that audience is important because they spend money. So if you're advertising that you've got your own webcomic, or that you've got your own Patreon, or that you've got your own store, people can come buy physical copies of your comic book, or they can buy commissions, they can buy T-shirts, whatever it is you've got. Well, you know, if you advertise on Saturday AM, you're speaking first and foremost to people who spent money to support us, meaning that they will pay money possibly to you. And that's what advertising is all about. You're not trying to get everybody to check out your stuff. You're trying to get people who are actually going to help support you financially. Because if they're not supporting you financially, then you're just doing this as a hobby. And I can promise you, I'm not doing this as a hobby. Like I said, I'm losing money, but it's not as a hobby. Trust me. There's no hobby I can think of designed to lose money. So that's the idea for advertising. And then the best part is that 3 months later, it'll then be on our website for a limited time, and it'll be seen by even more people. Some people who will spend money eventually, and some people who just will be fans of what you do will hit the link and then go to your webcomic, your online store, your web page, your Facebook page, your Instagram, whatever it is you're advertising, they'll go there and then support you in that way. The ads start out pretty cheaply. It starts at $10. As of right now, the most expensive ad I think is like, $40 or $50. Folks, that's a very small price to pay for getting your stuff out there and letting people know about what you're doing. And so again, I'll say again, the very first point I made earlier tonight, if you are trying to get with Saturday AM or any company, the first thing you should be focused on is not asking us, hey, how do I join? As if like we're just waiting for you to come join us. That's not what we're doing. Your first question should be, what steps does it take to get into your company? That's a respectful question, and it puts the conversation in the proper context, which is that you are trying to get information that's going to help you pursue a career in doing this. Because if you're with Saturday AM, you take this seriously. We're not a hobby place. We're not a place you just hang out and talk about who's cooler, Black Clover, what's cooler, Black Clover and Naruto. And that's not what Saturday AM is. If you were Saturday AM, this is hard. No one in Saturday AM is having an easy ride. So you ask that question. You start with that. After that, after we engage you then with the information that you need, typically what you should be thinking is, okay, well, I need to then get, I need to subscribe to Saturday AM. And yes, I'm going to say it. You need to subscribe to Saturday AM. Because if you don't subscribe to Saturday AM and you don't know what we do, and you don't know what sort of comics we publish, that you've not financially made an investment in what we do, then it makes very little sense why you would want to be a part of what we do. And it makes zero sense as to why we would go, oh yeah, well, please come aboard and join us. You don't know who we are. You don't know what we publish. You don't support us, but we're going to somehow stop what we're doing and take seriously the idea of you joining us. Marvel would laugh at you. DC would laugh at you. Viz would laugh at you. Dark Horse would laugh at you. And we would laugh at you because we would not take 1 second of what we're doing to stop doing what we're doing so that we could then give time to someone who doesn't even support us. How idiotic does that sound to want to join something that you don't know what it is? Like I said before, it is akin to going up to a woman or a guy that you like and saying, hey, I'd like to have sex with you. You don't know whether they're married. You don't know what their name is. You don't know anything about them. All you know is that you're just going to go up to them and say something that makes you look like an idiot. So the first thing I'm going to tell you is to subscribe. Someone asked, how much does it cost to subscribe? It costs $5, folks, $5 for a year subscription. That's going to get you 20 issues of Saturday AM. You won't get any Saturday PM, but $5, simple as that. You don't get a lot of special things. $5. 25 bucks get you Saturday AM, Saturday PM, and then we have other things built in there that you get to check out. But that's as simple as it gets. So we would tell you that, and then you'd have to ask yourself, okay, is this something I want to do? And like I said before, you know, you'll spend $5 getting something to eat at McDonald's. You'll spend something that you probably don't need if you're like me. You'll spend $5 on a coffee. Again, something you probably don't need if you're like me. So put your money where your mouth is when it comes to Saturday AM. But then after that, after you've seen what we do, after you've seen what we have, the next question is, okay, well, do I fit with them? You know, Frederick is about, you know, if you're like H, well, Frederick's all about diversity. And I ain't about diversity. I want to make comics that have no diversity. I don't know if you really feel that, H, but clearly you said something stupid like that. So, you know, I want no diversity. I want to make comic diversity. Frederick's going to be all about diversity. Well, then if you feel that way, well, then once you know what we're about, then you don't want to be with us. That makes perfect sense. So then start your own comic. Make your own web comic. Make your own, you know, place to put your stuff at. And if that's what you end up doing, well, then my thing would be, okay, well, then you want to speak to our audience, though, because, yes, they may care about diversity more than you do, but you want to speak to our audience because you know that they support strong creators. You know this. So if you know they support strong creators, then then invest in what you're trying to do. Invest in that. There's nothing to come. You know, you can't be a comic artist and never have bought a pencil or a Copic marker or paper. You can't be a writer and never have bought a word processing device, whether it's a old school typewriter or a nice fancy ass Apple iPad Pro or a Chromebook or an iMac. Hell, I've seen people write stuff on their phones. If you can't call yourself a writer if you've never invested in something to write in, even a notepad and pen. You can't call yourself a creator of a webcomic or a comic book and you've never once paid to get people to check it out. Like I said, the world does not work the way you want it to. It works the way it's worked for millennia. Writers write. Artists draw. Comic book artists draw pages with little panels in them that have backgrounds and have characters. You know, again, if all you draw is a really cool pin up of Goku, you're not a comic book artist. You're a fan artist, illustrator. You're not a comic book artist, though, because comic book artists actually draw pages of content, sequential content. And last but not least, you can't call yourself a comic book publisher or producer and you've never once tried to advertise, or a novelist, in the case of Dylan, and you've never once tried to advertise what you've created. At some point, you've got to be legitimate. And legitimacy starts with you actually trying to do the things that you claim to want to do. So that's my thing about advertising. We're doing this now every issue. We're doing it for Saturday PM, we're doing it for Saturday AM. Every issue will put a option where you can buy an ad. You can buy an ad on the front of the magazine, so you'll typically be next to one of the more popular series that's on the cover, or you'll be at the end of the issue, which will be at the very end of the issue. You'll be in the middle of the issue, or you'll be in a community page, which has very small ads, very small blocks for an ad, and but it'll hyperlink to wherever you want it to go. The only thing that we ask is that you don't try to send us anything that's lewd or racist or bigoted or sexist, something that is X-rated. You know, we're not here to promote this sort of things. But if you've got something that is promoting something else, online store, commission section, a Facebook page, fan page, a Instagram page, a website that you own, a webcomic on another website, we don't care. We'll promote it. $10 is the cheapest ad. I think $45 or $50 is the most expensive ad, and it's worth your time to reach all the people that we talk to on a regular basis. So that's it. So let me just check here so if there's any other questions, and then we'll wrap it up. See a lot of people having lots of in-depth conversations about fantasy and things like that. Dylan says, can I get an ad slot for my subscription? It just ended up going to be resubbing soon. I said, Dylan, yeah, we'll give you a spot on the community page, which is a $10 spot. We'll give that to you for free if you subscribe. Yeah. I think that's something we're going to do for everybody who subscribes. Adam Songabelli says, why do you think people don't spend the time to develop their actual story and develop their character instead of just diving headfirst into the drawing paper? Because I think most people have never done it before, and I think that's a problem. I think, like I said, I think most people have grown up in the internet era, and they're used to things happening immediately. When I was a kid, if you missed something on TV, you were screwed. You had to wait till you got there the next day at school or at work, and then you guys talked about it, and then maybe it popped up on a news clip or something like that in the local news. Nowadays, if you miss something, you immediately get to see it on Instagram or on your Twitter or on Facebook. And so I think with technology, we've built this idea for too many young people that everything in life happens fast. And so instead of spending time to actually develop stuff, you don't. And again, there's a slippery slope. Like I said, I get notes from people all the time that's saying, I spent 2 years developing my manga. You ain't spent no damn 2 years developing a manga. If you've never done a comic before, how the hell you spent 2 years doing it? Just developing the idea. Like I said, if you can't produce a short story, start with a short story, folks. Because if you can't tell a story with the beginning, a middle, and an end, if you can't do that in 10, 15, 20 pages, if you just can't do that simple exercise, you will never tell a long, drawn-out story. Trust me, we got competitors who thought they were going to take on Saturday AM and spent a lot of money trying to do it, and they flamed out after the first issue because they thought people would want to see an anime of their no-name title that no one's ever heard of. Like, that's not how it works, folks. It's not how it goes. You got to spend the time. You got to spend the money. Let's see here. All right, yes, the Clock Striker poster, yes. Let's see here. Will Zero says, is it possible to renew your subscription without Gumroad canceling it? I hate Gumroad sometimes because I don't know how their stuff is set up. I believe it's possible. You can't hold me to that. We're working on like an application, an app, which a lot of people wants to do an app. We're working on that. I don't know when it's going to complete. So I can't say it'll be this year. If we got a ton of money, we'd make an app tomorrow, but we don't. So we got to get the video game done first. But we are working on an app that would eliminate all these issues with Gumroad. So we're working on that. Yep, I hear you, TR Comics. All right, well, that's it, everybody. I know we've taken a lot of time. I didn't mean to go on this long, but that's it. So again, this was our pub talk for May 2018. Again, we will be at WizardWorld Philly next week. Come check us out. It'll be myself, White Manga, Frederick Ward, Lupino Todoloro, David Yoon, Mark Reed, and Blake Shower. So come meet all of us at WizardWorld Philly next week. If you want to save 20% off your ticket, you can do so. Just type in just type in Saturday AM when you go to Wizard World's website and you will buy the tickets. You can still do it. It'll knock 20% off, but use offer code Saturday AM. It's just one word, Saturday AM. In fact, I'll type it right here. Let's see. And then likewise, if you want to subscribe, you can do so. Please subscribe. It helps us out a lot. You can go here. And if you want to buy an ad, you can do this here. At least you can get the information here. And last but not least, Saturday PM will come out at the beginning of June, and issue number 3 will come out. Issue number 2 comes out at the beginning of June. Issue 3 comes out at the beginning of July. We got some great people in there, including Lady Nuroku, Nikoru, I mean, who is our cosplay model of the month or of the issue. I'm not sure who the model is for 3 yet, but it's going to be. We've reached out to several people, and several of them are very, very attractive, very cool. And that's it. So again, if you got questions, we'll be doing more chats, whether it's on Instagram. I do a lot of chats on Instagram, so you can check those out. But that's all I got. So take care, everybody. Thanks again for tuning in. Thank you for supporting Saturday AM, and we'll chat soon. Take care, everybody.